Monday is Valentine's Day. You know how I'm spending it, guys? I'm spending it with the one that I love. I'm spending my Valentine's Day with some bloody footy. Let's go, boys. Howdy everybody, my name is Sam Revel. Thank you so much for joining me on this very special live stream. If you're new around here, I hope I can get you to consider liking the content and subscribing to the channel. And if you are a regular around these here parts, thank you so much for the continuous support. The biggest day on the American sporting calendar is happening this Monday, and us four gentlemen are going to be sprinkling some Australian flavour onto it. I cannot wait to get into it. First of all, I'd like to introduce you to a man that has been with me over the past 4 weeks, Mr. Entertain House. Thank you again for joining me, fourth time go round, mate. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm looking forward to Monday. I can't wait. No other way to spend Valentine's Day.
And Mr. BKR Sport and myself interacting for the first time ever online. I appreciate it so much. Thank you very much. How are you going, dude?
Yeah, going all right, man. I'm keen for Monday. Obviously, this is the day we all wait for, and even people who aren't NFL fans necessarily, they all get around it too. So, no, I'm super excited, man. I'm even wearing my Lions shirt for my boy Matty Stafford. Get around the fella. So, no, I'm keen as, man.
And just before I introduce our next guest, I'm just going to float this. I'm just going to float this up in front just to show you how excited I really am that this gentleman is on. He is an 11-plus year professional elite athlete that's been playing the best game on the planet, the hardest game on the planet too. He's a premiership winner from 2016. He does YouTube and he's just a sensational bloke. Please welcome Mr. Chad Townsend. Hello, sir. Thank you for joining us tonight, man.
Thanks for having us, Sam. It's a pleasure to be here. Obviously, I'm a big fan of my NFL. Brady's getting out there and just having a crack.
Alrighty. So I'll be flat out. So, Mr. Townsend, I'll just say that the internet connection started going zigzagging. Was that on your end too, BKR?
That was just me, or I was wondering if that was just me or that was everybody else. Yeah.
No, it happened.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to be here, lads. I appreciate it. Obviously, I'm a massive NFL fan, just like you guys. So I'm a Browns fan. Also, I'm a YouTube fan as well. So I love it. When content creators get out there and they have a crack at doing their own thing, and obviously I love my sport as well. So happy to talk NFL, and it's gonna be a huge Monday.
And everything you just said, Chad, came in smooth as ice, man. So someone was playing silly buggers with you just then.
Yeah, the last one, man, we couldn't hear anything, and then that one we just heard it clean. That was brilliant.
Smooth, man, smooth. And so just around the table. So you're a Detroit Lions fan, BKR?
Unfortunately, mate. Unfortunately, yeah.
No way. They were one of the more entertaining sides to watch all season, man.
No. It's definitely unfortunately, mate. We have not won a playoff game in my entire lifetime, mate. It is definitely unfortunately, but in the same sense, they were fun to watch this year at parts, and I think we'll be better next year. But in the same sense, it's definitely unfortunately that comes with being a Detroit Lions fan, my guy.
Well, yeah, but after this season, man, you guys are on the right track. And Mr. Entertain House, man, and just to remind the lads out there, who do you go for again, man?
Kansas City Chiefs, mate. 11 years or 12 years proud now, but eliminated by the Bengals, who move on to the Super Bowl. AFC champions, the Bengals. So a bit of a surprise, but another good season from the boys after a pretty dismal start.
Yep. And myself, I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan. I just decided to go for him a couple of years before they made an appearance in the Super Bowl. So I've been going for him for a long time. So I just want to move into the first question, lads, because there has been 2 weeks between drinks, and there's been probably the biggest news in NFL of the past 10 years that's dropped. And that's Mr. Tom Brady. Mr. Tom Brady retired over the past couple of weeks in between drinks. And I'd like to start with BKR, please, if I could please start with you. What's your thoughts on Tom Brady overall, and what was your reaction to the way his retirement was announced?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, man. I get a major feeling. So obviously, I'm a Chicago Bulls fan too, right? And I know all about the Michael Jordan situation back in the '90s, where he just came out with the "I'm back" after a couple of years off. And I do still get the feeling with Tom Brady's last interview that he's not necessarily completely out of coming back next season as well. Obviously, one of the greatest players of all time, if not the greatest player of all time. And if anyone says otherwise, it's just simply they're not appreciating the greatness that we've actually been able to witness for the last 20 odd years, So, for me, man, I absolutely love what he's done. I will always respect what he's done, even when he went to the Buccaneers. And I still have a slight inkling that he's going to do a Michael Jordan comeback.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I think I saw an article about 8 hours ago that said sort of exactly what you just said too, man. And Chad, I'd like to move into you now, man. What are your thoughts on Tom Brady's career, and how have you reacted to the way his retirement was announced?
Yeah, look, I think he's the greatest player to ever play the game, to be honest. Probably one of the greatest athletes of all time. I think he's had Hall of Fame careers, and you could probably, half his career, and the first half of his career would have been a Hall of Fame, and so would the second half of it. So for me, I thought it was probably actually a little bit whatnot came out premature about his retirement, and then obviously his old man came out and had to sort of knock those rumors down. He even had the NFL and the media tweeting and breaking news, and then it obviously wasn't officially announced, then it became officially announced. But I'm not sure exactly how old he is, but I think he's 42 done. And I think now it's like it's insane. I mean, to do what he did even in his last season. But now I'm interested to see how he goes off the field now. I mean, he's obviously got such a powerful brand. BKR just spoke about Jordan and the brand that, and you look at the brand that he's created. I think you put Brady and Jordan probably in the same echelon, the same sort of box. So, what does Brady do now? I mean, Jordan obviously owns, Jordan brand and even owns an NBA team. So I'm going to keep an eye on Brady and just, I'll be a fan of his for life for sure.
Well said, and that came in smooth too. And Entertain House, thoughts on Tom Brady and the reaction to how it all went down?
Well, absolutely love watching him growing up, and I think the big thing about Tom Brady is to go from an AFC champion and become an NFC champion. What he did over at Tampa Bay, just shocking everyone. He's got so much highlights throughout that career, but I just think that's one of the biggest steps that a player's done, going from the AFC to the NFC and doing what he's done, all those Super Bowls, just if not the greatest, one of the greatest players to ever play the game.
Well said. And for me, I think it's a travesty the way it went down initially. I think that journo that leaked it should be catapulted into the sun just quietly, because I think if there's anyone on the planet, any athlete on the planet that deserved the vow of silence from the journos, it was Tom Brady. I would have picked Tom Brady for sure. Before he beat us, the Seattle Seahawks in Super Bowl 49, I didn't mind him. I didn't mind the cut of his jib, but then he beat us. I couldn't stand him there for a couple of years. But
kind of. You guys kind of beat yourselves by not running that ball. You kind of beat yourself, mate. I'm not gonna lie.
1 yard.
I agree. Sure, run the ball.
1 yard.
How do you have Marshawn? I'm sorry to go back to it, but we're years past it. But how do you have Marshawn Lynch and not run the ball in that situation? Anyway, we're not going to get into that because that's.
I understand. No,
I understand. All about it. Yeah.
No, I know. I understand, and I think the way Tom Brady, his last game against LA, at the moment, it was his last game. The game he had against LA, he was playing in a team that was cut in half pretty much, whether it due to be COVID or injuries or whatever. He was playing in a team that was at half strength, and he nearly pulled it out of the fire. So it wasn't the perfect way to finish what's been an immortal career. but it just says a little bit about the way how Tom Brady played. He nearly pulled it out of the fire for the franchise to move on to the NFC Championship game single-handedly. So Tom Brady, he's the greatest player that I think I'll ever see in my lifetime.
I think just to add on to what you're saying here as well is that, like, obviously, people were always thinking it was Bill Belichick and that Tom Brady wasn't necessarily his own player. It was more the system of the Patriots, and that it was Bill Belichick that obviously created him and brought him through, and that was the only reason he was successful. And then he went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and then won it. And I think that was what really, even though most people already signified him as the GOAT, that really kind of put it over the line for the doubters to think that it wasn't just Belichick and the Patriots. Look how they've kind of had a bit of a turnaround now, and now it's been great to see what he's been able to do with the Buccaneers. Yeah. Yo.
And the next question I'd like to fire through with you guys. Washington what? So I'd like to show you a couple of overlays, a couple of pickies. So obviously, and deservedly so, they had to change their name from the Redskins, and they were known as the Washington Football Team. And the next overlay I want to show you guys, I hope you all can see it. So this is some of the names that were out there. Red Wolves, Washington Red Hogs, Washington Defenders. That's been misspelt properly, god damn it. And there's also another one here that won the best amateur competition, the Washington Warriors there.
That's pretty cool,
and
yeah.
That's a pretty cool one here too. I would have gone for the Washington Red Tails. Instead, on the 2nd of February, we found out that they're going to be called the Washington Commanders. And my question, Mr. Townsend, I'd like to start with you first, good sir. What is your reaction to the Washington Commanders announcement reveal?
Yeah, I mean, you have to laugh. I mean, how it was broken initially, from what I understand, was from the weather reporter helicopter with camera zooming right into the stadium down there at Washington to see the big sign when they were just before they were going to reveal. But yeah, look, I actually liked, and people might think I'm crazy, but I actually liked the football team. I didn't think there was nothing.
So did I, yeah.
think, to me, it was like, obviously they made the decision to change the name from the previous one. They chose football team for the interim, but it kind of stuck. And like people then were starting to, I guess, resonate with the football team. They built like a little bit of a brand. They changed their coach, Ron Rivera, while they probably didn't have their best year this year. But they started to change the mold in the culture there, especially with, young Chase Young coming in there last season. So, yeah, I like the football team. I'm probably not a big fan of Commanders, but hey, I guess the fans voted for it, and I guess that's why we play. Let the fans have their say.
Yes. Entertain House, what's your reaction to the Washington Commanders now being a thing coming next season for the NFL?
Yeah, it's a very different name. I agree with Chad that the Washington Football Team has worked for so long, and they obviously were going to change the name eventually, but it kind of got into our heads. I don't mind the Red Wolves as well. I thought that would have been a pretty decent name. Obviously, no logo there for those other ones, but I think in this day and age, as much as it's a controversial decision, it probably is the right one to be changed. And it is time that they got that new name, but Washington Football Team was starting to roll off the tongue.
And Mr. BKR, what's your reaction to it, bro?
Pretty much I can just say the same thing as what they've both just said there, man. Obviously, I actually did like the football team in that name. At first, the thing is, man, is that with fans, they're as soon as something changes, people don't like change. So everyone is always an expert in that this name is going to be wrong and this name's going to be wrong. And then when they finally get the name, because it wasn't a name necessarily they wanted, they're always going to hate it regardless until it kind of takes a couple of weeks, couple of months for it to really sink in, or a season. We've seen that with the Gold Coast Titans logo in the sense back in the NRL that it's actually grown on me now. I didn't like it at first, but it's definitely grown on me now. We've also seen with I'm a big baseball fan with the Cleveland Indians who have changed it to the Cleveland Guardians. And it took a while for people to really start to go into it. Now I still kind of call them the Cleveland Indians and whatnot, but in the same sense, it is something that you do get used to. And I think the longer that we go on here, the Commanders probably do make a lot more sense. But in the same sense, yeah, man, I love the football team and I wish it had stayed, but it is what it is. It's all part of the game. And as Chad said, the fans voted for it. So, they're the fans. I'm not a fan of Washington, so I shouldn't be the one to choose.
I reckon they needed to fix their stadium. so it didn't leak sewage water on their fans before they changed the name, because I liked Washington football team as well. I thought it actually stuck and it was really good for a time there. I maybe would have gone for the Red Wolves personally, but now that they've moved on to the next phase of their existence, of their franchise, they now need to start fixing things internally, in my opinion. But we'll save the Washington football team conversation for a different day, because we're going to move into the Super Bowl now, lads. And this Monday from 10:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time from SoFi Stadium, it's the Los Angeles Rams, the away team, hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. And the halftime entertainment, just to put it out there, we got Kendrick Lamar, Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Mary J. Blige. I nearly said Nicki Minaj, and I probably would have been shot if I said that. But yeah, so we got the Super Bowl and Entertain House, man. What are the prices, please, good sir? What are the odds on this game?
So the Rams.
Of course, it's Entertain House bringing us the prices. Of course, it's Entertain House bringing us the goddamn prices.
I'll get you the value, lads. The Rams are the favourites heading into this game at $1.49. The Bengals outsiders at $2.60. But the Bengals, once again, they've been at the plus and outsiders in their last few games. So no surprise there. And then the line is 4. So all these games that we've seen recently have been by a field goal, and betting companies just aren't taking it. They're not taking that field goal line of 3. They've put the line up to 4 for this one. But the Rams go in as favourites at SoFi Stadium.
Well, Mr. Chad Townsend, mate, if I put this banner up for you here, man, with a question without notice. So with the banner here says MVP candidates on display, and there's 3 of them. 2 of them on the LA Rams. 1 of them's on Cincinnati Bengals. Chad, who of the 3, and I think you know who I'm talking about, Kupp, Burrow, and Stafford, of the 3 MVP candidates, who are you most looking forward to seeing how they go on the Super Bowl stage?
Yeah, look, I think it's I'm really excited to see how Joe Burrow goes. Obviously, in his sophomore season, there's a lot of hype around Joe Burrow at the moment. He's obviously playing really well. He's led this team to the Super Bowl in his sophomore season. He commands the huddle. You just have to look at the way he speaks to his teammates on the sideline when he's calling plays, the poise in the pocket. So I'm really excited to see how Joe Burrow plays. But I have been actually taking note of the MVP betting, and I actually really like Aaron Donald. If someone's looking for a bit of value, I know that he started out at $15. I think he's come into about $13 there. And the reason I say this is because a few weeks ago, Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times. And that's probably one of the Bengals' downfall is their pass protection. And, they got criticised at the start of the year when they took Jamar Chase instead of Penei Sewell. But, I mean, what a choice that turned out to be. Now, the Bengals, their pass protection hasn't been great. And if you have to think with the Rams, like the way they rush the quarterback. I mean, you just look at Von Miller, who's won a Super Bowl. He's won a Super Bowl MVP before as well. He knows what to do. But they've got Aaron Donald. And Aaron Donald, I don't know if you guys have seen some of the videos and the way he talks to himself on the field and the way he was speaking to his teammates, when the game was on the line last week. To me, I think he's in for a massive game. And so if anyone out there is looking for a bit of value, maybe you don't want to pick a quarterback and pick a short price favorite. Maybe have a look at Aaron Donald.
Wow, and that's definitely the 4th option to bring in easily. And wouldn't it be such a story if Joe Burrow ended up winning the Super Bowl and becoming the MVP against all the odds once more, when you got 3 just legends in Stafford and Kupp, and especially
to
Donald?
Me, it's like if Bengals win, it'll be Joe Burrow. If Rams win, it could be Stafford, Kupp, Donald. There probably could be a few other outsiders as well. But if Bengals win, it'll be Burrow.
And just another question, without notice, please, Chad. So do you think Rodgers and Brady out of MVP contention?
Yeah, that's a tough one, to be honest. I think Aaron Rodgers has had such a distracted season from the off-season into round 1, into vaccination status, into how they exited the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think if I was to pick, a proper MVP for the regular season out of those 2, I'd probably pick Brady over Aaron Rodgers, to be honest.
I'm right there with you. I'm fair dinkum right there with you. And BKR, man, MVP candidates on display. Is there someone that we haven't spoken about, or is there someone that you are zoning in on this weekend?
Absolutely, man. Like I said, I'm a Lions fan, so I'm always going to be backing in my boy Matty Stafford. And I think that you obviously, you brought up the fact with Joe Burrow that obviously it would be such a big thing for him to face all adversity and come through in his sophomore season, as Chatty said, and come and win it. And it would just be an amazing story for the Bengals. But you've also got to go back and have a look at Matty Stafford, who's come from the Detroit Lions, a place that we've been so unsuccessful for so many years. We've constantly, he's been the only guy that gets anything done there for us at any stage. We go back to 2016, I think it was when we played the Seattle Seahawks, and we got to the playoffs and we lost that one. In 2015, we took on the Cowboys and we got robbed in that one. But in the same sense, that's as far as Stafford ever went. And now, in his first season away from the Lions, he's making the Super Bowl. And, it'd just be such an incredible thing. And as we've seen as well, this is probably the closest thing that the Detroit's been to a Super Bowl, because we've got Eminem in the halftime show and we've also got Matty Stafford here. So, this is our Super Bowl, man. I'm actually going to be emotional if they win it just because of Matty Stafford. I love that, man.
That's so cool, dude. That's so cool. And Entertain House, man, is there an MVP in this game or outside this game? What are your thoughts on MVP, mate?
I think Cooper Kupp. I think Cooper Kupp's had a phenomenal season. I think Matty Stafford's a real good shout for the MVP, especially going from Detroit, going straight to this Super Bowl after all that adversity. Again, you mentioned Burrow, another great choice. And I agree with Chad that if the Bengals win, it goes to Burrow straight up. Unfortunately, players like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins don't stand a chance, I think, getting it. And I think Cooper Kupp, personally.
I am, as much as I said, I was right there with Chad as far as Tom Brady goes in the regular season. I'm right there with you, House, as far as Cooper Kupp, man. I think he's been more consistent than Matthew Stafford, and Joe Burrow maybe a hair in it. I'd have in second place. I think Cooper Kupp has actually been the best player in all of NFL this season, and he's going to be so hard to stop, man. And the next question I'd like to ask, and I'll start with you, Entertain House as well, man. It's for me. What do you think this game is as far as the following? I'll explain it. Is it the attack versus the defense of the LA Rams, or is it the attack of the LA Rams versus the defense, or yeah, you could say it's a mixture of both, but what are the strengths and weaknesses in both sides, mate?
Well, I think the Bengals' attack is their strong point, and I think the defense of the Rams has been quite good. Yeah, they've let some points in, but they've definitely come up with some huge plays and some big moments, especially you go back to that game against the Buccaneers just a few weeks ago. So I think it comes down to, can the Rams' defense of what they've bought this year in defense as well win this game for them? Such a big game.
Yep. And BKR, mate. How do you summarize, or not summarize, but how do you assess both teams coming into the Super Bowl, bro?
Well, both these teams are very offensive-minded, right? So you go and have a look at the Bengals, and you do have the likes of Burrow and Jamar Chase. And I've been riding Jamar Chase all season long. Like, I love that bloke. I had him in fantasy, and I picked him up in, I think, the 6th round or something like that. And it was just so much fun to witness how offensively minded. We all know Joe Burrow is a passer, and it's great to have Joe Mixon there in the running back, but he was always going to be really focusing on that passing. And then you go to Detroit as well. Not Detroit, sorry. You go to the Rams as well, and Matty Stafford's always going to be a pass-first kind of quarterback as well. And I think that it's just so good to see that both teams are really going to be airing the ball out, in my opinion. Yeah, look, both teams can give up some points, but also the Rams do have that really solid pass rush that we were talking about there in the likes of Aaron Donald. And they've got some really good players. They're going to be rolling through, coming for Burrow, because that line protecting Burrow can be susceptible. But he's just that good that he can still probably get around that.
Yeah, and Chad, man, I want to talk about the defense of the Cincinnati Bengals with you just for a hot second. And the Cincinnati Bengals defense has gone largely unrecognized throughout the season. And I heard a podcast and did some more research into it. And I'm not going to bring up an overlay. I did some more research into the Cincinnati Bengals defense, and they're a team they're a pack that are made up of players that have been drafted at the very maximum since 2018. There are players in there that are second-round draft picks. There's a first draft pick in the Cincinnati Bengals side, but the Los Angeles Rams, they have probably been one of the more respected defenses in NFL for 3 seasons now, I dare tend to suggest. Who do you give the edge, and who do you think has the momentum defensively between Cincinnati and LA, Chad?
Yeah, look, it's definitely LA for me. I think I can kind of see the game, and I agree with BKR and the fact that both teams are very offensively minded. Both teams have young coaches, especially, McVay's obviously got a great record. He's been to a Super Bowl. I feel like he's learned a lot in that loss a few years ago. But to me, the Bengals are going to put all their chips in because they've got nothing to lose. They're going to give everything to Joe Burrow and say, Joe, we're willing, you throw, and we trust you to throw the ball. And where the Rams, I feel on the other hand, may have to make a few more decisions because I feel the Rams can back their defense more. So, they might be times where they might not go for a 4th down. They might kick and they might punt and then back their defense gets a stop. Where the Bengals, to me, it's like, well, hey, we're playing with house money here. It's almost like we're here. We've got nothing to lose. We're just going to go for it. So that's dangerous. Like, that's dangerous for the Rams and a dangerous mentality to have if you're defending that type of stuff. So it's exciting, mate. I think it's going to be one with the Rams defense, but we've spoken about Burrow and how much of a good season he's had. So it's going to be a great match.
Defense wins championships, man. Defense wins championships.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes. And I just want to bring up an overlay here, guys. So this is the recent head-to-head record. Dates all the way back to 1999. I'm not going all the way back to the 60s for it. The record is 3-3 at the moment. So, and if you see a pattern there at the bottom, sorry about the bottom line there, but in 4 of the past 6 encounters between these two sides, the loser has been kept to 10 points. So is that going to happen again on Monday? I mean, who friggin' knows? But I just wanted to go back in history and just see what the actual record between the two sides are, and it's 3 apiece. So someone's going to be, since 1999, someone's going to get the lead so far as that all goes. So I want to start asking about your tips, guys. We'll get into it, and I just want to firstly say that the Los Angeles Rams, for me, guys, I wasn't terribly impressed with the Los Angeles Rams towards the back end of the season. They won more games than they lost, clearly and obviously, but they were terribly inconsistent. They then took on an Arizona Cardinals side that was just dead flat, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who were at half strength. And in the NFC Championship game against San Fran, they were down for a period. And I don't think it's a matter of LA. I don't think it's a matter of San Francisco choked, but I definitely think that they took the foot off the accelerator, the 49ers, and kind of let them back into the game. So the Los Angeles Rams, man, I think they're there to be taken. And with Cincinnati Bengals, they have proved that, yes, the Tennessee Titans sacked them 9 times, and the Tennessee Titans, they came out ordinary as well. But Cincinnati will stay with you like a bloody pit bull for the entire game. And for me personally, the LA Rams have shown, they have displayed that they're going to drop off for a quarter, and they're going to do everything within their power not to do that. But just going off the past 8 weeks, I would tend to suggest, I think the LA Rams, man, a lot of people are saying that they're going to kill the Bengals. I don't see that happening. And like Chad alluded to there, I think this is going to be an absolute thriller, and it's just going to go hand in hand with the season that we've had. And the season that we've had, it's the greatest NFL season I've ever seen. So I wanted to tip the Los Angeles Rams because, look, all the planets have sort of aligned for SoFi Stadium was built, and Los Angeles Rams moved from St. Louis back to LA because of the money and because of the new stadium from Stan Kroenke. But you just got to believe in the unbelievable this season. I mean, I went 0-4 in the divisional round week. And I think House got a couple of more tips more correct than me, who finished on 0 for that weekend. So for me, my tip, I'm going to tip the Cincinnati Bengals to win this game on Monday morning. And I think the Cincinnati Bengals will win. I don't think it'll be a gritty, low-scoring affair. I think the game will turn out to be something like maybe like a 24-21 score on Cincinnati Bengals way. And you know who I like? I have ridden the horse, or the Bengal as it were, of Tyler Boyd all season myself. I've really enjoyed Tyler Boyd's performance throughout this season, and I think I'll back him to score an anytime touchdown, and therefore Joe Burrow becomes the MVP. And BKR Sport, please give us your preview, your prediction, your tip, mate. Tell us, bro.
Okay, so it is a really tough one. You know, as much as everyone does want to immediately go to the Rams, you do have to take into account this is the Super Bowl. Anything can happen, and especially with how the playoffs have been going, we all know that it usually should come right down to the end of it. I'm not necessarily so sure, however, because you've got to look at the fact that this Rams team, there is so much experience in it. It's not like they're just a couple of young guys who've had a really awesome season. I'm not denigrating from the Bengals at all. I think Bengals are the fairy tale team, and everyone wants to get behind the Bengals. I'm seeing way more people get behind the Bengals than the Rams. But the reason why I believe the Rams will win this, I will say that I think the Rams win this, is because the fact that not only have they got the better defense, but when it comes to offense, I probably would lean more so with the Bengals on the excitement factor. But in the same sense, I've seen Jamar Chase get locked down this season at points. You know, I've seen Burrow not exactly have great games. And even when Stafford's not having a great game, they're still getting the job done there because they have such unreal experience around the field, whether it be literally anywhere. So I just feel like they're going to be able to handle the pressure a lot more, the situation a lot more. I don't want to say this is going to be a blowout at all. I don't think it's going to be necessarily a blowout, but I do think the Rams could win comfortably if they're going to go down the path of just having that experience to kind of shut them out in front of a home crowd. Because you got to remember, although the Bengals are technically the home team here, it is really a Rams home game, and you're going to really feel that and know that. And like I said, this is a Super Bowl. The Vikings could have had this a couple of years back after the Stephon Diggs miracle in Minnesota, which was one of the greatest moments in NFL history. And then week after, they lost to Philly, and then Philly ended up winning, I think, that year. But that was in Minnesota as well, that Super Bowl. So the Rams have a special chance to go and do it this year. And I think that they're probably going to get it done. I just think their defense is going to be too good. And I think that it's not going to be necessarily, I'm not saying that there's going to be any choke of any means, but I just think that the experience is going to be too much for them in regards to the Bengals.
Thank you, man. That came in crystal clear. Yeah, that all makes sense. Okay, Los Angeles Rams, bro. All right. And Entertain House, man. Your tip, mate. And I just want to say this quick stat as well. Cincinnati Bengals, they've never played at SoFi Stadium, and it's been many years since they've actually played LA. Cincinnati Bengals, this is their first trip to SoFi Stadium. Yes. Entertain House, man.
Yeah. Well, the Bengals, they've had a fantastic season. They had a great draft as well. Joe Burrow coming back from injury, fantastic season, and a chance to be the Super Bowl MVP. But as BKR mentioned, the Rams, they just have so much experience, so many veterans in this side, so much quality to like. I think that the Bengals can start to come back towards the third quarter, towards the end of this game, but ultimately I don't think it will be enough. Like Blaze, I actually think that not a runaway game, but I think the Rams will win well. I'm actually going to take a scoreline of 31-18. So I'm going to tip the Rams to win this one by 13.
And do you have an anytime touchdown scorer, bro?
I'll go the same with the MVP. I'll back Cooper Kupp, just a safe one there.
Yo, true. And last word goes to Mr. Townsend. Chad, man, who's your tip? What's your preview prediction for this game, man?
Yeah, I'm same with the boys. To be honest, I can't go past the Rams. I think all their chips are in. They've traded away a number of their first overall picks to bring guys in. They've picked up OBJ, who's had a new lease of life since he's been in LA. So for me, I'm going to have to take the Rams, and I think Sean McVay will outcoach the opposition as well. I think you probably learn a lot from the last time he played in the Super Bowl. And I expect him to be Tion Song. So my anytime touchdown scorer, I don't want to pick Kupp, who would probably be the favorite, but I might pick Cam Akers, to be honest, anytime touchdown scorer. And I might also chuck in there my MVP, Aaron Donald.
Yep.
And then there's a few novelty markets, boys. And don't you just love the Super Bowl when the novelty markets come up? So
yeah, man.
I want to give you this, right? Gatorade color.
That's the best one every single time.
Yeah.
Orange. He's orange. The favorite. So I'm on orange Gatorade color. First quarterback shown during the anthem, Joe Burrow, and first coach shown during the anthem, Sean McVay. All right.
Was that first player shown during the anthem? What a market! That is a market.
First quarterback shown during the anthem. Matt Stafford $1.80. Joe Burrow $2.
The only thing I will say to you there, Shaddy, the only thing I'll say is that, like, if the Rams win, are you sure they're going to douse themselves with the orange, the orange Gatorade?
Well, it's orange $3, blue $4.20, none $5, water $5.50, yellow $6, red $7.50, and purple $11. So
I'll get behind the blue. Yeah, I think with the Rams being kind of blue, I'll get behind that.
And you know, like in the grand final for the NRL, they've got a standby for one colour confetti and the other as well. I reckon they'll have half a lake worth of Gatorade there for whoever wins, mate. They'll have it ready to rock and roll. So we've got. I'm the only one going for Cincinnati. Well, if Cincinnati win, I'm calling you. I'm calling all of you to go and get that up, yous, eh? That's what I'm going to do on Monday morning.
I don't think it's like. Look, I think that it's not like you're crazy to suggest that it's still the Super Bowl. No. Like anyone can win. But in the same sense, I think that maybe I definitely think the Burrow can win in his career by absolutely within the next couple of years. Anyway, I think the Rams were in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. They got heartbroken by the Patriots there. That was one of the worst Super Bowls of all time, to be honest with you. But this time, I think they'll get the job done.
Sweet. Entertaining House. Any last words there, bro?
No, it's been a fantastic chat tonight. I want to thank everyone for coming on.
No worries. Into the live chat, I didn't get into the live chat as much as what I wanted to, but that's okay. Because I know that the comments have, fleetingly, they've been really well behaved. Thank you so much for the support from you guys. BKR Sport, Entertain House, Chad, Mr. Chad Townsend, to you, sir, as a North Queensland Cowboys fan, just quickly, I wish you nothing but the best. And you're going to have a great season, man. Your leadership has been spoken about so much over the off season, and you're going to kill it. You're going to kill it, man. And I'm just so excited to see you guys play, man.
Thanks, Sam, and keep going, boys. Like I said at the start, I'm a big fan of YouTube, and I love it when people get out there and just create and have a go and have passion for sports, and it brings us all together. So, anytime, lads.
Thank you so much. Again, BKR, Entertain House, Chad Townsend. Please go and check out their YouTube channels. Even go check out a podcast that I didn't mention at the start, Moving the Chains as well. Chad Townsend does that with Jamie Soward on a weekly basis, and I'm sure they'll be up for it in season 3 later on this year in 2022. That's it. I'm a Bengal, and the rest of these gentlemen are going for the Los Angeles Rams. Whatever you're doing on Monday, have a great day. Valentine's Day and the footy's on at the same day. I think that goes beautifully hand in hand, guys. So I'll talk to you all later. Adios, everybody. Thank you.
See you later, boys.